Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Elizabeth and this is The Joyful Sojourn. We are a community of people that love stationery and planning and doing things creatively on paper. If that sounds like your kind of community, then I hope you will consider subscribing to my channel. Today's video is a fun one. We are talking all about the we're in January 2026 release from LayleByMail. These items were sent to me. I met Layle back in April and have really enjoyed playing with her photopolymer stamps. She's coming out with more items, including her season passes and the rub-on transfers. And I've just been having so much fun with creative play using her products in my Archer and Olive notebooks. So today we are talking about the January 2026 release from her, which has one of the items I have been waiting for, I've been asking for, and we actually did go back and forth a little bit over email talking about texture stamps. And you guys, we're going to go through, I'm going to share with you swatches from all of the stamps releasing on January 15th. But I just have to say, if you have loved over the last year when I've used like splatter in my planners and my journals, you guys, Layle has come out with the first textures stamp set. It's ink spatter, and I'm very excited about it. So we are going to look at all of these, and then I want to show you how I would use these in two different types of products. So I have an Archer and Olive planner and a Hemlock and Oak planner, and I'm going to do a couple mock-up samples in both of them so you can see how these all play together. So let's, oh, and I am an affiliate for her and I have a discount code. So if you decide to pick up anything from LayleByMail, Joyful10 will save you 10% off of your purchase. That'll work on the items that are releasing on January 15th, all these guys, and of course, anything else that you were signing up for. I think subscriptions like the season pass are excluded, but the cool thing about the season pass that she does is items are now being posted a la carte. So if you didn't want everything in the season pass, you could use that Joyful10 discount code. Okay, so let me share with you the swatches from the stamps first. And we're going to start with this one, which I think is so exciting. So last year, at the end of last year, Layle dropped the monthly stamps like this. You guys remember this? So these are stamp sets. Each stamp set is for a month. So January got its own set, February got its own set, and you have a bunch of different kind of iterations for the month, for headers, for your planners, for your journals. And so she released the whole bundle of all the months last year. It's still available. You can get all of them, all 12 months. Bundled together at a slightly discounted rate, and then you can add the Joyful10 on top. Or if you want to space things out, maybe you're watching your budget, you could buy, 1 month in advance of the upcoming month and slowly over the course of the year kind of collect a stamp set for each month. So what I loved about these was the variety of different font choices, and that they're all cohesive too if you wanted to use the same stamp design across a whole year. She is releasing now days of the week in a very similar aesthetic so that they can be coordinated. So we have Monday, and again, we will show these swatched out, but we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different styles of your day of the week headers. So there's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And of course, I've pre-swatched these so we can see what they look like. Now, the method that I use for swatching in my swatch book, this is a B5 Archer and Olive notebook that I turned into my LayleByMail swatch book. So the only thing in here is LayleByMail stamps. And the way that I do this is I add ink to, so when you get your stamp, and I recommend doing this if you don't care about the quality of the impression and you just want to catalog quickly. If you're looking for a perfect stamp impression every time, then I wouldn't recommend this. But what I do is the whole set of stamps comes on a piece of acetate, just like this. And I just hold it or set it down and I ink the whole sheet of acetate and lay it down and push. And that's how I get basically all of my stamp sets swatched when they come into my office. So if you see some imperfections in my swatching, just know that that's because of my method, not because the stamps are bad. Her photopolymer stamps are fabulous. They're almost foolproof. I feel like if you get them down on an acrylic block and you have a nice surface, a flat surface to stamp on, you're going to be sitting pretty. And I would recommend, if you're new to stamping or you want to stamp more in 2026, definitely get her pencil board. She calls it a pencil board. At this point, I would use it as a stamping board, but it's an acrylic, flat piece of acrylic that you slide underneath the paper, and then you have a more steady surface for stamping, making your impression. So I basically inked up all of my individual sheets, days of the week, put this pencil board underneath, and, stamped all the way across. So let's take a look so we can see these a little bit better. Here's your set of Monday. These are going to be very similar to or matching the months that we already have. So Monday, 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 Monday. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have Tuesday. Wednesday, I did split up so I could get it to fit. Then we have Thursday, Friday. Friday, I doubled up. I didn't lay it down down in one shot. I kind of moved it a little bit. So that is my error. Here's Saturday, and then Sunday I split here and here. So if you want to kind of complete your collection and have all of your dating stamps in one go, you can get the days of the week. And then, if you like things to matchy-matchy, you can have them be matchy-matchy. And I'll show you how we do that in the Archer and Olive weekly planner. We'll choose one of these and just stamp it all the way across the top so you can see how they look. So this is the first set of items in the January 2026 release, is days of the week, and then you've got your individual days. And you can do the same thing, as the monthlies if you want to kind of space it out and buy a couple days in one shot. Or I'm pretty sure she's going to bundle these all together. So if you want to get the complete collection in one go, it's probably going to be slightly discounted. Plus you can add the Joyful 10 for 10% off on top of that. So there are your days of the week stamps. Beautiful release. So glad that she's come out with that. The next item, and this is the pencil boards, come in 2 sizes, by the way. Did I say that? And I do have both. If you're using maybe like a pocket size planner or notebook, you can use the smaller one, but she has an A5 size now, which is what this one is. So the next, actually I should keep this for me. The next stamp that she's coming out with is Favorite/Current. This is another kind of everyday staple stamp set for your collection. If you're doing daily journaling or maybe memory keeping, or you're doing creative listing. Let's jump over to that one. And this has kind of a cool element to it. So this is Favorite/Current. So you've got favorite and current, and then recipes, places, movies, foods, books, and music. And then along with these headers, you have the different icons that correspond. You also have this little split tea guy. She does this a lot in her stamp sets, which I think is really nice because they fit well, the headers on the set. And this is a sample of what it looks like when you combine that kind of tea stamp with your different header words. So in this example, I did current foods and then the food icon. And then you can do a list of your current foods. If you want to do creative listing, this is such a great way to do it. If you want to do maybe a currently page in your planner for the end of the month of what your favorite recipes, places, movies, books, foods, and music was for the month, you could do these little headers on your currently page for the month and, list those out that way. So very cute, functional, and I love that we have the mix of the icons and this kind of structure. If you want to use this, you don't have to. You could leave it unstructured. And of course you can use these independent of favorite and current, but I just like that she gives us the option to do creative listing with this. doing memory keeping with this, etc. So this is favorite / current. And then the textures, the ink spatter. I cannot wait to see how this collection grows. I am a huge fan of adding spatter to my spreads, and I will often do it even after I've like decorated a spread on camera. I might go back through and add a little bit more to it. Oh, here's my here's the size difference. Actually, it might be hard to see, but can you guys see where the line is there with her standard size one, which is for her traveler's notebooks? That's a smaller one. And then the A5 size. I'd recommend the A5 size if you can get it. Here is the spatter. It doesn't look very sexy in black on paper, but trust me, we're going to play with this today and you're going to see why I love it so much. So this, to me, if you could only get one stamp set from this release that you can use every day, no matter what you're planning in, I would go with this guy. I am so bloomin' excited. I think it is the perfect mix of more bold splatter and then the more dispersed. And again, we're gonna play with this right now so you can see how it works. So that is the Textures ink spatter stamp set. Okay, the last item in this release that I can share today is documenting the details of rub-on transfers. Love rub-on transfers. I love them specifically for my thinner paper planners. So if you are in a Just Scribble, if you're in a R. Estelle, if you're in a Hobonichi, if you're in a Sterling ink, if you're in any of these what I call Bible paper planners that are a much lower GSM, like 70 GSM and lower, you should definitely try rub-on transfers. Let me see if I can lift this guy out. So this is a 2-sheet set of 6x8 rub-on transfers. It's documenting the details, which is what Layle is known for. And it's just a bunch of really fun headers. These are going to look great with the ink splatter on top, splatter on top, but you get 2 sheets here and they're for documenting the details. What it is a piece of acetate and a piece of like parchment paper usually, or like wax paper. Let's see if I can separate this. And what you do is you've got the ink or the paint, whatever it is, on the piece of acetate, and you rub it down, remove this paper backing so that the paint or ink, I should check myself and see what this actually is called, but you put it down on the paper and you rub it, and you're transferring that ink from this piece of plastic down to your paper. That's why it's a rub-on transfer. And they are so great because they are virtually undetectable. If you get the newer, like good quality ones, like these ones, when you put your hand across the paper, there's no bulk to them. So I really like them for soft bound planners that you don't want to add a lot of bulk to, but you want a little bit more form. Stamping, if you can find a good stamp or a good ink, and these rub-on transfers are so good because again, they're not going to add a lot of plumpness to, they're completely flat. So let me just get a close-up of this first sheet. So we've got a lot of similar fonts and like headers that we've seen from Layle. Documenting the details, bits and pieces of joy, documenting life through words and pictures, today's story, storyteller, details, document top 5 moments, remember this story, remember this moment, this story matters, this made me smile. And there are a few stamps spattered throughout my LayleByMail collection that are of these, but this is really nice when you don't want to take the time to break out the inks and stuff. And then here is the second one. Life lately, this moment, capture and document, real life. This is worth remembering. Great story right now. Highlights, capture every moment. With some decorative element there. Details from today, so you could rub this on and then you could circle whatever day you're on, documenting life, random thoughts. Just a really fun duo of rub-on transfers. Yes. These I'm not going to use today because I want to focus on the much larger release of the stamps. So we're going to focus on those, but you will be seeing these soon in one of my thinner paper planners. Okay, so let's get to actually playing and using these items. The first setup or mock-up I want to share with you is using the Hemlock and Oak, and I think this will be good too, so you can see how the Hemlock and Oak paper performs with stamping. This Hemlock and Oak planner is an undated daily. It is their standard paper, which I believe is 120 GSM, and what I'm going to do is decorate a daily page, and we'll see how long it takes. So let's say you're in a daily planner and you don't want to take a ton of time to set things up. This is going to be such a beautiful way to add a little bit of panache to your daily planning without taking too much time. I'm going to jump over to Thursday on this guy. And I think we should use actually what we could do is we could do both sides actually. So you guys can see maybe two different versions of this and how they look on a daily. The Hemlock and Oak daily, I think, has like so much room for activities. So we're going to use the larger stamp, the largest of the Thursday. And I'm going to add it to an acrylic block here. For now, let's have the days of the week be, should we do black or should we like play a little bit? Hold on. I did grab my Distress Oxides. So we could play a little bit. How about we try Prize Ribbon? Because why not? And I'm just going to take this guy and ink it up. Taking the ink pad directly to the stamp. Make sure you prime your stamps before you start using them. Photopolymer stamps have like a film on them from production, and you want to rub it off on your arm or just like wipe them off with like an eraser or something, just to kind of grit it up a little bit, and that will allow the ink to adhere better. Otherwise it'll slip off because of the film on it. So these have already been primed because of course I did my swatches. I'm just gonna actually hold this up. It's got the pencil board underneath it, and I'm gonna presume, let's presume I need my daily schedule, the hourly time blocking. So while I want to go here, I guess I could go up here, but then my time blocking gets cut off before 8 a.m. I think that's okay. Let's start here. So I'm just going to throw this guy down, press firmly. I'm not rolling it or rocking it. We'll just go like that. Looks like I missed a little on my A. My A. I don't normally recommend doing this, but I can see the ink on the A. We'll leave it just like that. I have this clear stamp cleaner. The cool thing about Layle's website is not only does she sell her own products, but she also sells a bunch of other creative brands. And so this like Ranger Ink, the clear stamp cleaner, this she sells on her website as well. So if you are already placing an order and you don't have a stamp cleaner, you can do this. I also really love the absorber. It's a blue spongy material that you just keep wet, and you can stamp directly on the wet absorber. That's going to be the most cost efficient cleaner, but we're just using this because it's sitting here. I also will use baby wipes, but only if they're like the watery ones, super watery ones. You don't want to have like a cleaning material, or not a cleaning material, what's it called? You don't want there to be like extra things in the baby wipes that then can get on the stamps. So we did Thursday. Doesn't look like much, but just hold on. And I didn't do a great job stamping the Thursday because we've got that A's a little wonky. Let's do Friday. And I'm I'm just kind of grabbing random colors here. I'm not going for a specific look here. I just want to test things out. Should we go with peacock feathers? Let's do peacock feathers for Friday. And, you know, we can look at the time stamping and see how long it took to set up 2 quick dailies in a Hemlock and Oak planner. So here is Friday. And I'm just dabbing peacock feathers on it. Dabbing it up, a little dabble do ya. Oh wait, no, I wanted to use a different, hold on. I want to use a different, no, I'm just going to leave it. I already put the ink on it. I wanted to try a different day of the week, or a different stamp style for day of the week. But we'll do that over in the, I have an undated B5 Archer and Olive planner that we can play with. So, flip this guy up. And let's add Friday. Hopefully I can get this one better. That's a little bit better. And we'll clean this guy up. Let this dry off. So we've added 2 days. That's cute. All we did was add a little bit of color with this, right? I mean, there's nothing super fancy about it, but color and some fun font really makes a spread kind of come together. So we've done that. Let's play with the splatter now. Very excited about this. And you can lay the spatter down first, or you can just go on top. I'm going to go on top. And no rules here. We're going to go back to the peacock feathers. We're going to do peacock feather over here, and then we'll do the, what did I use? Prize ribbon over here. So they're like coordinated, but not too matchy-matchy. We're going to do the big one, the big spatter on Thursday. We're just inking it up. I got enough on there. Pencil board. Move it back over. And I'm going to throw this right here. Like so. Cool, cool. And I don't think I'm going to use this big one again. Wipe this one off. And how about, actually, let's do one of this. So what's cool about this set is you have the thicker 3 that have more of like a more concentrated blob. These ones though, don't sleep on these ones. These I almost like more for, they're more easy to use because they don't command so much attention. So I'm going to take this one, which is much more dispersed. And should we add like a different color? Maybe crackling campfire, or spiced marmalade, or stormy sky. I kind of want something fun. How about picked raspberry? So I'm going to take picked raspberry. Excuse me. So you can see how dispersed it is. And I'm going to go over the day like that. And just to kind of have it maybe ombre out a little bit, I'm going to do the same one again, slightly overlap it, and change the orientation of the block. I'm going to go right here. So it's kind of like coming down. And I feel like we need maybe a little bit more. Like this guy, you could technically layer even more, like right there. Or I could do one up here. Let's do one up a bit higher. I'm going to put this one right there. So see how we just added color? It adds no like thickness to the page. And technically I can write up here. Like you can write on, you know, over ink. So I think that looks nice. And it just added a little bit of color. And if I want to, maybe we'll do this after. I could add one of the currently stamps as well. But I do want to get through some other things. So let's keep moving. I'm going to change things up and use this more like clustered texture. Ink that up with the prize ribbon. What I should do is just add this other pencil board. There we go. And I'm going to add this one right here. Cool. And I do think it'd be nice to add a little bit of prize ribbon, or excuse me, picked raspberry again. Do I want to do like the larger spray? Sure. Love it. Love it. And I'm going to go right here. I lost some of the functionality having that go down a little bit lower, but I am liking that. I haven't done a ton of stamping in this Undated Daily, and it does look like it's not feathering, but if you, I don't know, is it feathering? I can't tell. Hold on. It's not bleeding, so that's good. It just looks bold. So this one, I think it's because it does have bolder splotches. Okay, do we want to add, I think we should add one more of the blue with this guy. And we'll just go right here. Isn't that fun? I love texture stamps like this. They're so good. Okay, now if we want to add some, let's say we do some hourly time blocking here. We're working. We've got some like to-do lists. And then maybe, you know, maybe we want to end the day with, let's see, like my song of the day. Let's say we want to do like what I listened to today, today's music. So we're going to add we're going to do the music stamp, and we're going to do, we could do the whole kit and caboodle where it's like this thing down here at the bottom. Let's just do it while we're here. This might be a longer video because I still do want to show you this in an Archer and Olive notebook, or Archer and Olive planner, excuse me. I'm going to go to, I'm going to do this in black, this frame guy in black. We're going to do it on both sides. So let's say for this week, if I'm doing, if I plan every day, I'm a daily planner. Let's say like each week I want to change maybe what I'm tracking music-wise. Or maybe the next week I want to do like, if I watched a movie, like what movie I watched. Let's do that for Friday. We'll change things up. So I'm going to change out the vibe here. So we'll do this guy. Clean it up. Got got stamps everywhere. If you're new here, I don't edit my videos. I do that on purpose just because I want it to feel like we're hanging out. And so keep things nice and conversational. So we're going to do current, and I'm going to go back to prize ribbon because Thursday is in prize ribbon. So we're going to do music for Thursday, and then let's presume we went to the movies on Friday, or we're going to the movies. We will do movies for the other one. So music. There's music. And we'll switch over to movies, or if you're reading a book, like what your current book is. But we'll do movies because it's Friday night. For this one, we're going to go back to Peacock. And I do creative listing. I haven't had a creative listing video on my channel in at least a month, mostly because of holidays, and really fall was all about the planner lookbook series. I review a lot of planners on my channel. And so I know I've been light on the like more creative stuff in the last couple months, but I do hope and plan to in the new year have more regular creative listing, more stuff like this on my channel. So just hang in with me. I know it's been a bit of a grind. So we're going to do current, the word current for the top part. And what color should it be? I'm thinking pink, the picked raspberry, because it's keeping it, and I'll do it on both sides. That way we're just kind of connecting the top with the bottom. So we have current. I feel like these colors, ooh, my paper's wrinkled, are very like 80s. I'm not mad at it though. Then we'll do movies. And you could put the name of the movie here, but really I should have put these up higher because then we can actually put what the current movies and music was. I didn't leave a space for it. So I'm gonna have to think about where we would put that. So we have a music icon. Again, this is the current, what is it called? Current, or favorite / current. And I think for this, I'm gonna have it be black. I think we're gonna do black. So we'll do the music icon in black. Might have blacked that, but we'll see. So there's your music icon. And then there's a movie reel, film reel for current movies. Do the film reel. Kind of looks like a pizza pie. Doesn't matter which way it goes. I don't know. We'll go right there. So there is your film reel. And then if we want to add, again, splatter can be added anywhere. Let's add the super dispersed splatter. Keep saying splatter. Someone's going to correct me. I can hear you judging me. Let's do the prize ribbon. Right on top, just for kicks. See how like it's hard to mess up this spatter, especially when you have the more dispersed one. I think I need a new paper towel because it's starting to molt. And then let's do, oops, Same spatter with the peacock feathers. I don't want it to be too matchy-matchy, so I'm not going to do it in the same place. But I do like this one a lot. And we're going to go right there. That feels good. So there you go. We've got 2 daily spreads using all stamps, not a single sticker. Look at me go. No stickers, no rub-on transfers, just stamps. This could be good just as it is. If you want to add dates, like a actual numerical date, you could do that with a number stamp. Do I want to grab a number stamp? Not particularly, but just for kicks, let's go with the this is where it'd be nice to have a calendar in front of me. Hold on. Let me look at my planner for this guy. Of course, that one's undated. Hold on. Let me grab my Hemlock and Oak vertical. So if we want to do, this is for the 15th and the 16th. So I'm going to grab this About Last Month add-on stamp set. This is the 2026 About Last Month. If you get, this is the add-on. If you get the regular one, it has numbers 1 through 12 plus all the months. So I'm just going to grab this one because we just need the 15th and the 16th. So I'm going to set aside the texture and hold on, I think I need to put these away or I'm going to make a mess, or at least stack these guys. Okay. So let's go back to this. This was released last month. And so if you missed it and you want some numbers, you can get the About Last Month duo. Pretty sure they're both still in stock. So we need number 15. You want to right size your acrylic block with your stamps, and I did not do that today. I have something smaller within arm's reach. Sure don't. So we're going to go with this one. And just for consistency, since we used prize ribbon on this guy, let's use prized ribbon. If I can find it. Here's peacock feathers for number 15 for the date. And should we do it like a cluster? Sure. We're going to go just right there. There's the 15th. Look at how the outlined numbers look with the spatter. Isn't that cool looking? I like it. Very cool. Okay, and then my daughter says, and then like that. When we put her down for the night. You know, she wants to cling on to us for as long as possible because we're her people. So as we're like walking out the door, she's like, oh, tomorrow we're going to do da-da-da. And we're like, yep, we love you. Good night. And then she yells, and then, you know, as the door's closing, and then, you know, just the, and then is like the connecting piece to like allow her to keep talking. You know, like she knows that we want to see what she's going to say after and then. Pretty adorable. And then we're going to add the 16 right there. Oh, my pencil board moved because I have the wrong size on this guy. Hold on. I got to lean over this a little bit better. There we go. It's not perfect, but it's finished. Okay, we need to pivot away from this because I'm running out of time. But I did want to show you what the days of the week could look like with the spatter. And again, this is in a Hemlock and Oak daily planner. It's undated, but even if it were dated, if you're working in a Hemlock and Oak daily or any daily planner at all, this is just a way to like have fun with dating it. I talk all the time when I'm doing creative planning that the easiest way to add a little bit of fun to your spread, to get some creative play out for the day, because I think it's important we do something creative every day. The easiest way to do that without losing functionality of our planners, because that's what they're here for the most part, is to decorative date. That is just redate the planner in a fun and creative way, because then you don't lose the bulk of the page that you need for actual planning. So these stamps combined, like the spatter with the days of the week and bringing in some other numbers that you might have, such a fun way to add some creative play. And then you've got all these different headers that you can use if you want to just log something different each day. You can do that. And with this example, I probably would just do a little fun arrow with what the song of the day is or what artist I'm listening to. Same here. If we're watching a movie, I'd probably maybe put what the movie is here within the schedule and do another little arrow this way. So that is example numero uno. Now, I know a lot of us have, move this stuff out of the way, planners, vertical planners. So we're going to dive into this is a B5, which has a lot of real estate space. This again is undated, but you can do this in a dated planner. This is the Archer and Olive vertical planner. This is going to be great for stamping because it's a 160 GSM. It's a very good quality paper. So you've got so much space to play here. Now, we're going to have to use multiple stamp sets for this guy because I want to show you how we can play a little bit with our dating. I'm going to do something in reverse here. I'm actually going to use the spatter stamps first, then I'm just going to date it and we will call it good because I think that's going to be, honestly, it's going to be plenty. Let's say we want to, and I think we're going to just use all the different texture stamps up at the top. And I'm going to grab, really what I should do is like test out like what's going to be the best kind of look for a rainbow. Like you kind of want to keep these grouped together. Hold on. So I've got like a purple, lilac. That guy. I don't have the full Distress Oxide collection. Kind of wish that I did. Peeled paint. I don't know if these are going to look good together. Got some yellow. Let's see. Festive berries, lumberjack plaid, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. I don't know if these colors are going to look good together, but I think we're going to just go for it and see what happens. So I'm going to do a rainbow-ish vibe using the spatter. And we'll just see how this turns out. I'm going to start with a bold guy here, right on the edge. Oh, and let's get our pencil board right here. We'll see how this turns out. Then I got to figure out what header type I want to use, because I'm not sure. So we're going to go with, I'm going to go off the board actually for this because I want it to seem like it's kind of coming down. So I'm going to do pencil board plus paper towel here. And I'm going to go all the way to the edge. Like so. And red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Perfect. I'm going to clean this off. And red, orange. Let's do yellow with this guy. And I'm going to rotate it like so that it's not totally following the same splatter shape as the other one. And I'm going to go here. I don't know how this is going to work, but it's fun. It's fun to play. So red, orange, yellow, green. I'm going to jump over. I'm not going to do every other with this large one. We're going to do purple, I think, with this big guy. Ooh, that's more of a pinky. I think that's okay. Maybe we'll integrate another purple tone after this one, or before this one. I'm going to throw this right here and put this off the page just like that. Okay, so that's all I want to use this big splatter on. And I'm just going to do this by stamp versus like do all the reds, do all the oranges, etc. And we'll just see how this works. So now let's move into orange. Put this off here. And I think I want to do, actually, we're going to use this one next. This is the really spread out one that I think could be a good like blending piece with the next day's color. So I'm going back to the red and I'm going to overlap it a little bit with the splatter like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with couple of these other colors with this guy because I think this is going to be a good like connecting piece. Let's do Rusty Hinge, which was the orange. And I think we might use this twice. I'm going to do a Rusty Hinge here. And I'm going to do another Rusty Hinge next to the red. And I'm just kind of doing it where I want. There's no like reason for placement here. I just do it where it feels nice. And you might want to wipe this off every once in a while. I'm noticing it's starting to collect colors. I just wipe that off on a paper towel. Wipe this guy off. All right, I definitely want some yellow with the dispersed one. And that one I'm gonna kind of just go for it without anything underneath it, because why not? Yeah, I think this specific stamp is going to get a lot of play as the connecting piece. Let's do red, orange, yellow. We need some green here. Just make sure you're rotating the stamp so the shape kind of changes. Go a little bit off there and put one right there too without re-inking it. So there's some green. I have a blue. I did prize ribbon. Seeing a lot of action today. And Layle sells the distress oxides, so you can get these there also if you're interested. I'm gonna put that guy there, and I'm gonna rotate it. And I'm not trying to get like the perfect like separation of colors within each day. I'm really just wanting to just spread them out so it, not ombre, but you know, they kind of effortlessly flow into each other. Okay, I think we're done with this little guy, the most dispersed one. Now, I think we should do the smallest blob, And then, you know, wherever there's like a space where I'm like, oh, we definitely need to add a little bit more, we'll add a little bit more. So here's Rusty Hinge. I'm going to put Rusty Hinge right here and right here. And I like things going off the page. I'm going to overlap that a little bit like that. And one right there. So there's Rusty Hinge. Let's do a bonus yellow. The yellow is Mustard Seed. Mustard Seed. See how these can just like, I just feel like spatter stamps, no matter, even if you're not a stamper, if you use stickers, but you add some spatter, it makes you look like a pro. Like, it's so cool. Okay, we've got this really aggressive guy. I think we should make that one be blue. So I want to do maybe this more concentrated one for the green, because we need a statement for the green. And I'm going to do that right there. Ooh, without a pencil board. Ooh, that still worked out okay. And I also want to do this more clustered one with, I think that would be good with the seedless preserves. I'm going to add that one right here. Maybe a little bit more there. Your second stamp, like your second impression, is going to be a little bit more faded, which could look cool if you want that look. Kind of creates like almost like a 3D look, like it's like further away, which I think looks rad. We're going to take this really bold blue one, or this big bold one, and do blue. Inking it up. I really like these small ink pads. I prefer them to the full size one because my craft space is not huge. So they all fit in my maple, the collection that I have of the distress inks all fit in my small maple and lark bliss bin. But I also like how easy they are to hold on to when I'm stamping. I'm going to do, so I got to figure out like what part of the stamp do I want on there. I'm going to go with this guy. So now that I have like kind of the full thing, like having all the colors represented, I can go through and be like, okay, where do I want to kind of fill in and add a little bit more color and texture. I also have the days of the week down at the bottom. There's another thing I like to do with these stamps that I didn't do. Maybe I can actually, we're gonna, man, I have so many different ideas for playing with this and a limited amount of time. Let me focus here for a second. I'm gonna add actually a little bit of, no, what are we doing? I use washi tape to mark off where I don't want to add ink, okay? And I'm going to do that down below. It's not going to match the top, but this is really just a sample spread to show you what's possible, okay? So bear with me, because I do want to show you this technique in this same video so you can get more ideas. But I'm going to add a little bit more green first. I want to finish the top, and then I'll give you a different technique for the bottom. So there is green. I also think we could add a spot of the seedless preserve over here. And we need a little bit more of the rusty hinge. And I don't want to use the same spot. So where did I just looked at the time and I'm like, I gotta pick up my daughter. So if I start getting a little frantic, and that would be why. Let's do this crazy one, which is super clustered. And I'm not going to add ink to the whole thing because I don't think I need the whole thing. So I just didn't really ink all the way at the end. I'm just going to lift this up and go right there. Let's date this using our new days of the week stamps, and then I'll show you that last technique with the washi tape down below. And then I'll just have to probably do more of this in an Instagram reel with this release so you guys can see a couple different techniques with the spatter. So let me move this guy out of the way and let's date this bad mama jamma. So we have all kinds of different options here, okay? And I mean, I kind of want to show you a few. Maybe we do one up at the top so you can see some consistency here. And then we're going to change the aesthetic. I'm going to show you a different style with Saturday and Sunday. How does that sound? I think that sounds like a great idea. So we're going to use all of these like typewriter ones because I think they look cool. And color pops more, in my opinion, with black. So we're going to do just good old-fashioned black for our days of the week. And I'll just go back to this guy. This is the VersaFine. I go back and forth between this one and the Archer and Olive Legacy ink in black, which I think is super nice. And we're going to just do a bold Friday like that. And I have it centered in the column, and it does kind of cut over the line, which I like. And it's going to give us some room for some numbers as well. So this is where the process is going to get a little laborious because I need to pull every day of the week. So if you're someone that likes to rearrange your stamps, I suppose that's something that you could do, is rearrange these on pieces of acetate where all of the same styles of headers are on the same piece of acetate. So like all of these typewriter ones are all on a sheet. All of the large ones are on a sheet. You know, you could kind of play around with it if you want to. So there is Thursday. I didn't press that very well. It's also closest to the seam, but I'll fix that in a minute. Because now we're working on time constriction here. But I like ye. Okay, what are the other days? I need to get these into their forever packaging because we've got a lot of packaging to go through here. This is where editing, this is Sunday. We're not ready for Sunday. And I'll pull Saturday out, but we're not ready for Saturday. Move Saturday out of the way. I would love to know, what are you guys doing while you're watching me? Are you planning? Are you stamping? Are you shopping? What are you guys up to? This is my first week feeling like I'm like back on the clock for work. So I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, to be honest. Catching up. I know I'm like so behind on messages on Instagram and messages or comments on YouTube. So I'm a little overwhelmed. Trying to play catch up. And I'm just realizing I can't respond to each and every comment that I have waiting for me. So if you leave me a comment on a video, or if you left me a comment on a video prior to Christmas, I will leave you a heart to know, oh wait, we've already done this one. I'll leave you a heart to know that I read it and You know, unless there's a question that needs answering, you might not get like a full-on reply, but know that I do read your comments and I respond when I can. I'm just like so backlogged from Christmas. I tried really hard to take the last 2 weeks of the year off. And I kind of had to because we didn't have, childcare, and then we had family in town, and of course, holiday stuff. So part of it was out of necessity, just needing to focus on my family. But it's just like any regular job. Like if you take the time off, you end up coming back to an inbox that's probably way more full, So it's a bit of a trade-off. Now, this is a notes column. This is formatted to be notes. And what I have done with the Archer and Olive one before is actually split this Saturday, Sunday, and have my notes run along the bottom. I actually prefer that because I don't really need a ton of space Saturday, Sunday, and I like having my whole week up at the top and then just basically 2 big sections for brain dumping. But we're not going to do that today, which is obviously going to leave that just as is. Okay, I do think we need to add our weekdays. So let me add the dates. What am I trying to say? So we're going to go back to this guy, and the 12th is on the other stamp set. So we'll start with 13. I hope I got my dates right. 9 times out of 10, I'm getting my dates wrong, and y'all are yelling at me on the screen. No, pretty sure this is the 13th though. And I have ink on my hands, so I'm not immune to stuff getting on my hands. So we're going to go kind of right in the center, just like that. And then I'm only going to do one more because I do want to take the time to show you the other technique with the stamps, with the spatter. We'll do one more so you can see it. So we'll do the 14th. Right there. Okay, now let me show you what I'm talking about with kind of sectioning things off. So if you want to keep spatter inside a specific area, you can do that. If I end up posting a picture of this over on Instagram, you'll be able to see the rest of the week's finished. But I do want to show you, at least with 2 days, what you're looking like. And you have so much functionality down at the bottom. And you've got like, pops of color, which make it super fun. We're going to do 2 different techniques here on Saturday and Sunday, just for some play. What you're going to need is some washi tape. So I'm going to grab just some random washi tape, and we're going to use it to block things off on the page. So, and I like to kind of, remove some of the adhesive off of it. The first, or at least on this right page, I'm going to line this washi up inside the box. Inside the box. And I'm going to line this washi inside the upper box, or these upper boxes. Like so. And we'll just go all the way across, I guess. Like that. Okay, so the washi tape is inside this box and inside these other boxes. On this side, I'm going to put the washi outside the bottom box. And you're basically doing this like painter's tape. I'm going to do another piece over on the side. So, if you purchase like a washi tape set because you really liked one of the washi tapes, and now you're stuck with some washi from the rest of the set that you're like, ew, I don't like it, use that washi. I'm not saying that that's what this polka dot washi is, but I'm just saying that that's the wash you want to grab. Okay, so I've marked off the outside of the box and from the inside of the box. And now I'm going to, let me add a little bit more here. Just like this. I've got some raw edges here. So I'm going to grab my knife here. This is a slice tool, and I'm just going to cut where I think the line is for the day of the week column. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we're gonna want some tweezers. Grab these guys, and what I just cut out, I'm just gonna remove. Looks like I didn't cut all the way through these guys. So again, we are cutting. We're cutting on the line of the column. Come on. I think I need a new blade in my precision cutter. All right, but see how once you start cleaning it up, it's a little bit easier to see where we're going with this. We'll just move it like that. And then this guy, we've got a little bit of a lip here. So definitely like tighten it up so it goes along your lines. Oh boy. Let's try this again. There we go. Close enough. Okay. Last one. Let's do this side too. And I think I'm going to use just one color so we can move a little bit more quickly through this example of these tapes. Okay, you guys ready? Because we are definitely over time. Let me just trim that guy back and trim that guy. Okay. Now, let's grab a block. And, well, one, if you want to buff on color, you can do that with a dauber. I do have a brush here, so I guess let's do a couple different things. I'm going to grab the prize ribbon on this spongy, not spongy, it's a brush. I'm going to remove some of that excess color on a paper towel, and I'm just going to do a little bit of buffing here. A little bit of buffing here. And go all the way across. And I think we should do the same thing here. Actually, what we should do is do it in red, since red is what we have on this side. So I don't want to grab another brush. So I'm going to use the same brush, dab it off the page onto the page, and I'm just going to follow the washi tape. Take off some more of that color here. See if I can blend this a little bit more. Blend it out. Okay, so a little bit of buffer. Now let's use the texture stamps so we can get a sense for what the washi tape has done for us. And I'm going to use green, this green one, and I use the more condensed splatter. I'm going to stamp this guy right here. And do a secondary stamp right there. Clean this guy off. Let's grab Seedless Preserve, I think would be nice. I'm going to do this larger splatter. I don't know where this is going to land, so I'm going to ink the whole thing. And I'm going to throw it. Grab a paper towel here. Right here, like so. And just for kicks, a little bit there. Clean this guy off. Hope you guys can see what we're doing, the way this is going to turn out. This is where the perfectionist in me is like, oh, girl, you need to edit your videos. If you make a boo-boo, they're gonna see it. Let's get a spot of prize ribbon. And throw that guy right here. Maybe a little bit more. Just to make the point here, we'll go there and there. Okay, and again, this is not going to be completely cohesive, the top with the bottom, because I'm using different techniques here. All right, let's go to the lumberjack plaid. That's what this red is. Not sure I said that at the beginning of this video. With the large splatter. And I'm going to put this guy right here. And then the cool impact happens when, or you see the impact when you lift up the washi tape. And hopefully I primed that washi enough to where it's not sticking on the paper. So there is red. Should we do like a little blip of orange? Let's do a little blip of orange. We're going to use this guy, the rusty hinge. And then we can also use a different day of the week design so you guys can see what that looks like. All right, you guys ready to take the washi tape off so we can see how it looks? My desk is a hot mess express. All right, let's remove some of this washi. And that definitely stuck. So it's pulling off the paper. So make sure you get off the extra stickiness from the washi tape. Yeah, because that is sticking. I'm going to push down as I pull. Hopefully that gives me a fighting chance here. And I've got ink on my hands. So of course that's going to smudge-a-rooney. I've noticed that older washi tapes, which I think this is, tend to have that kind of adhesive on the back that is not super removable. And so it might happen that if you do this technique with an older washi, it's going to pull up the paper like what it's doing on this one. Where is all this ink coming from? Let's lift this up. So see how the washi tape or painter's tape inside the boxes makes it look like the ink that we buffed on and the splatter that we laid down makes it look like it's outside of the boxes. be careful here because this is where the ink, I did get ink on the washi tape. And obviously it's not going to really dry quickly on the washi tape. That is making a mess. I used the wrong washi tape on this. It works. This method works. I do it all the time. I just haven't done it with this polka dotted washi before. Noted. If you guys see me reaching for the polka dot washi to do this again, tell me to run far, far away. All right. And then on this side, we did it outside the box so that the ink is now contained. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Ink is maintained, is contained inside the box. Whew, that was a mess, you guys. But let's look at it up close because I do think that these two techniques are super rad. They work great with these spatter stamps that Layle just came out with. And I want to see y'all try it. So here is what happens when you washi tape the outside of the box. So now you've got the box kind of framed in and the colors on the inside. And then on this side, again, with some errors, right? Like I touched it and of course I used old washi and I didn't remove the adhesive enough. So it ripped up or lifted up the paper. But here you can see if you get a good painter's tape, as it were, you can get the look of the ink and the splatter being behind the box. And I think that looks cool too. They both look cool in their own right. And I think it looks rad. I like these examples. Let's try one more day of the week stamp so we can see what it looks like in the Archer and Olive planner. And we could do like a bold one for Sunday. And then maybe we do this one for Saturday. Let's do it. Just so we can test out all's the things. Can't find anything at this point. Where'd my acrylic block go? So for this guy, for Sunday, I'm going to use black. This is like a jumbo version of our typewriter days of the week up at the top, which is kind of cool. And I'm going to put this guy inside, outside. I'm going to do them outside. I did not do that good. Ooh. This is where the spine gets tricky. So we've got that guy. I'll show you how to clean that up in a second if you want it to be a little bit more punchy. Same with the Thursday up at the top. It gets hard on the seam here. So there is Sunday. And then for Saturday, let me see this one. I think this font type is cool looking. And I think it'll look fun with the splatter behind it. And we'll go inside for a Saturday. And then you can add your date number wherever you want in the box. I'm not going to take the time to do that right now because I do want to show you that if you're feeling like you didn't get the best impression, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just grab a black pen and just fill it in. I'm just going to fill in the spots that look like they're messing with the integrity of the S here. I don't need to like blacken the whole thing. If I were really wanting this to be like solid black, I could go through and do that, but I'm not going to do that. I feel like that is plenty fine defining the S. And then here with the Thursday, same thing, struggled with the impression. So I have a finer tip here. I'm just going to fill in the circle and just make sure that my letters are more defined. Like so. And once you start using your planner or your journal, like filling things in, you don't even notice that the ink that you've added maybe is a different color or like a little more black. Just like that. Ooh, y'all, we did work today. Okay, so what did we do? We talked about the days of the week stamps that are coming out January 15th. We talked about the, what I need to grab. I need to grab my dated daily. Hold on. We talked about the favorites and currently stamp set that's coming out, the splatter stamps that are coming out, and a couple different ways that you can use them. Obviously, just free-flowing splatter wherever you want, or using washi tape to act as painter's tape to mark off where you don't want a stamp to be. And I like the way that it looks, the stamps look, the spatter stamps look on top of like washes of color, which you can use with a dauber or a brush like what I have. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If you decide to shop LayleByMail and this video was helpful and you'd like to help me keep the lights on around here so I can keep putting out content, please consider shopping with my affiliate link or the discount code in the description box. That is Joyful10. I'll save you 10% off of your purchase at LayleByMail. And oh, I also highlighted her pencil boards, which are good for creating a solid surface underneath your notebooks. Distress oxides like these minis that she sells on her website, and the cleaner as well. So regardless of whether or not the product is a LayleByMail product or it's, you know, this is a Ranger ink product, I'm pretty sure the Joyful 10 discount code works on those as well. So definitely keep that in mind. Come hang out with me over on Instagram. My handle is The Joyful Sojourn. And if you want to hang out with me again, I sure hope that you do. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Until next time, friends, God bless you. God bless you and keep you. Do something creative today. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.